Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, Stop Struggling, Nothing is Going to Change. Okay, I gotta be very conscious about this title because it could be taken out of context, okay? Because some may say, so if my life is in a particular way and I want it to change, there's nothing I can do to change it? Let me just go a little further into it to see where is it that we're pointing to, so you're no longer distracted and can be truly happy, which is what we're pointing to in these videos. The peace that passes all understanding, the happiness which is unshakable, unmovable. That's what we're going to. So here's what I mean. Let's use this analogy. Imagine you are a movie screen, but for the sake of this analogy, you're in a theater looking at a movie screen. The movie screen is impeccable, perfect, clean, it's fine. Then you turn the light off and you project a movie onto it. You see? All of a sudden you're overlooking the fact that all that there is a movie screen, the impeccable, clean movie screen, and now it's being covered, you see, by this image that is projected onto it. Now, you could want the movie to change. You see, you may say, I want this movie to change to a different movie. However, the struggle trying to change the movie in reality is not going to make any change whatsoever, because the only thing that is true that never changes is the screen. You see? So wanting to change the movie is not right or wrong, it's simply a distraction to what is true. And the problem with wanting to change the movie is that if you change the movie to something that you like because you made a judgment prior to that, well, the nature of the movie is that it's going to end, and for the sake of this analogy, another movie will be projected onto it eventually. You see, you don't have the choice as to which movie is going to be projected. But if you forget that it's a movie, you find yourself reacting to the changes that only happen in the movie. But the screen never changes. The screen is permanent. And what I'm saying is that stop struggling, nothing is going to change, is a good thing. What I'm saying is that whether it's a scary movie or is a comedy movie, whether it's drama or whether it is romantic, it doesn't matter, you see. All of that cannot affect the only thing that is true and that it's real, and that is the screen. Okay? So, what I'm saying or I'm pointing to here is that the world of appearances changes. But what you are, in essence, does not. When you try to change the world of appearances, it's not right or wrong. But the problem is that it keeps you hypnotized, and then your happiness and your peace will be dependent on what seems to be happening in the world of appearances. But if you know who you are, and you remember, you remind as such, the movie will change, meaning circumstances will change, thoughts will change, feelings will change, but you remain. And that is when I say stop struggling. You don't need to struggle in order to try to change what you are. But it appears that you need to struggle in order to change what appears to be. You see? Now, you may say, but what if I'm going through a challenging situation or a painful situation or something in the screen or whatever in the world of appearances that does not seem to be in accord to what I would like or so? I mean, what can I do then or so? Well, let's look at that together. I think what Shakespeare used to say, there's nothing good or bad except thinking makes it so, right? So whatever is happening in your life, doesn't matter what it is, the only thing that makes it bad is a judgment, not the thing itself. Whatever you're seeing is just what is. Your judgment, which is a thought, is what turns them into good or bad. If you like what the thought says, or let's say if you believe the thought and it happens to be a thought you like, you say, this is wonderful, life is wonderful. If it so happens that there's a thought you do not like and you believe that thought, then you feel life is miserable. But in reality, life is not miserable, not wonderful, simply is. You see? How about a sensation? Same thing applies. Sensation could be there, and it could be very tough, you know, but the judgment of that sensation is what turned something that, like thoughts and everything, does change, but it takes whatever it seems to be happening into an ordeal that causes suffering. See, you can experience pain, but without suffering. I don't use the pleasure example because usually when there's pleasure, there's no suffering, you know, or it appears to be. But the bottom line is that whatever it's happening, if there's not a judgment of it, then it's just simply an experience. And the experience, like everything else, is transitory, you see. The screen is not transitory, but the movies are. Well, you, who you are, what you are, simply is, and it's not transitory, it remains. The thought is transitory. When you believe the thought, when you project meaning onto anything that is transitory, you are at the mercy of your interpretation, not of the event itself. You're not at the mercy of the pain. You're not at the mercy of the changes in the appearances. You're not at the mercy of the thoughts. You're only at the mercy of your interpretation of the thoughts, meaning believing the thoughts, because these thoughts are needed only to sustain the belief, the root cause, which is the belief I am a separate individual. But when that is seen through, then I simply am. You see, this is the I am that it's pointed to always. Resting in the I am, the world of appearances changes, but you need not to struggle trying to change anything, because nothing, meaning you, is not going to change. Everything else may appear to change, but you won't. And that's what I mean, that stop the struggling, nothing is going to change. Meaning, stop struggling, putting the attention on the illusory, because it doesn't matter what you do, what you are, that is never going to change. Meaning that the peace, the happiness that you are is never going to change. That's what I mean by that title. The world of appearances sometimes may change to what appears to be our liking, and sometimes they won't. But you remain at peace. You remain as you are. And that's what these videos are always pointing to. That's it. This is the simplicity. What makes it complicated is the constant believing the interpretations, the thoughts that the mind makes of anything. And as I always do in every video, and this is not going to be an exception, let's put it to the test to see that this is not esoteric. This is not something that is going to happen in the future. This is not, this is very, very obvious. It's the nature of our beingness, and this is what we're going to do. Right now, if you're dealing with any challenge, again, the challenge is not what you're dealing with. You're dealing with your interpretation of the situation. That's what makes it challenging. Without the interpretation, all that there is experience. Whether it has a particular image, or whether it has a particular sense or a texture, it doesn't matter. So right now, whatever you seem to be going through, which is just an interpretation, we're not denying or suppressing anything, we're just seeing things as they are, rather than how we are trying to make them up, you see. So right now, just relax. You don't have to close your eyes. This is just simply the obvious of life, the obviousness of life. Right now, don't identify with any thoughts, in spite of whatever you may be experiencing. Could be sensation, could be, you know, thoughts that are appearing or disappearing. Just let them be. That's fine. Just don't identify with any of the thoughts. You see? Can you notice, can you experience a sense of being that's what you are? Without the thoughts, that sense of beingness doesn't change, you see? That'll never change. That's your permanent, ever-present experience of beingness. That will never change. Now, resting in that, while you're resting in this, have you noticed that some of the thoughts you were thinking before I asked you to rest in this, they're gone? Maybe, I don't know. If they are, great. If they haven't, that's fine too. But you see, that's the nature of what changes. But when there's no identification, not believing the thoughts, not the judgment we make of them, what is left? Well, you see, that's life. That's what we're pointing to. That's peace. That's happiness. That'll never change. Even if you're in the midst of pain, physical pain, even if your life is, your whole world is collapsing, you rest in that peace. You see? That doesn't make you passive. That doesn't make you like a vegetable. Not at all. That makes you conscious. You're happy, you're at peace. And from that space, notice how life moves the instrument. Because remember, you're not the doer. You see, you are. It's interesting how we think we control life, but we forget that we didn't come first and life happened after. Life was first, we came after. So life is first, we appear in it, and now we think that we can control it. Life is controlling us because life is. What happened is we believe we're this individual, and we are now parting from a belief system that says we are the one in charge. We just forgot that we came from life. We're not giving birth to life. See, life is. Now we're going back to the essence. Life is. Get the mind out of the way, and like I've heard a long time ago, if you want to know truth, you must be out of your mind. You know. Just be. See? And now observe how life unfolds. It's very simple. And when fear comes of something that could happen, or what if this or what if that, these are thoughts. These are just thoughts. You're still being. And in the beingness, notice how life will lead you to handle whatever needs to be handled if the instrument called you is needed to interact. If that instrument is not needed, life take care of itself. Life not what it's doing. Life brought you here, life will take you out. But you are not the one who came in and the one who came out. You are life itself. It's the thought that says I am this individual what overlooks the fact that I am life, or I should say I am, or simply isness, pure isness. That's what we're pointing to. So once again, resting in this, resting in awareness without the intervention of the conceptual mind, are there any problems? No. All that there is life. Think of a future, you create a problem. Think of a past, you may generate guilt or whatever, resentment. But being present and all that there is peace. That's the love that we are. That's what we're pointing to always. This is very simple. But the question is that what you want? Again, it's not that you choose to want that because you're not the doer, but again, within the limitation of language and within this context, we use those words. You see? When you want peace above all else, it's already there. It's not given to you. It's there, sitting, waiting to be recognized. You see? When you get the mind out of the way, the peace is obvious. In spite of whatever you may be feeling, sensing, or whatever may be happening. When you get the mind involved, the peace is not gone, the happiness is not gone, it's just been overlooked. And what we're doing here is remembering that we are. You see, I am. There's no struggle here. And what you are is not going to change. Consequently, nothing is going to change. Meaning that you remain and will always be peace, happiness, love. Okay, this was the inspiration that came through this instrument. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.